6 o'clock, I'll call the meeting of the Personnel Board to order on Wednesday, February 15th at 6 p.m. The first item on the agenda is to review and approve meeting minutes from August 30th, 2022. Any feedback, motion?
I don't have any changes.
Me either. I move to approve.
Second. Those, and I just, we got to change the spelling of my name in a couple of sections, but that's it. We'll have to do a roll call because we're on Zoom. So everyone in favor of approving the meeting minutes from August 30th?
Mike Brown.
Scott, I do. Yep. Scott, yes.
Tracy, yes.
Monica,
this is the first I'm seeing of them. So,
And you weren't at the meeting, correct?
right, I was not.
Okay.
so Madam Chair, I just, if I could just remind you that we have to declare this meeting as being recorded.
Oh, thank you.
For the purposes of open meeting law. So just to remind you of that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have to restate it or are we good?
Okay.
Okay.
And Tracy, apologies. I will fix your name. That spelling is on me. I apologize.
Oh, don't worry. It's really my mother, because she spelled it wrong when I was born. 6:10, discussion around seasonal pay scale, library, recreation, and DPW.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to, first of all, has everybody met Liz Buetow, the new director of HR?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to actually introduce Liz, who is actually a resident of nearby Norfolk, but has worked in Plymouth County for the Plymouth County DA's office as the HR director most recently. So we're glad to have her joining us, and she joined us just after the first of the year. So she's still getting her feet wet, so to speak, but she's doing a great job for us, and we're very happy to have her. So I wanted to just formally introduce Liz Buetow, and Liz will talk to you a little bit about the pay scales.
Thanks, Bill.
Great. Nice to meet everyone.
Nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
So you can go ahead, Liz, if you want.
Okay, great. So one of the first items since joining the town of Foxborough is really thinking about how we could be competitive. You know, the summer's just right around the corner. And when we were looking at, when I was looking at the seasonal pay plan, it showed that obviously, because we're as a municipality, we do not have to abide by the minimum wage laws. So our hourly rates were below minimum wage. So we reached out to some of our other local towns to see where they were falling for their seasonal hires for FY 23 into 24. And we recognized very quickly that we needed to raise our pay scale. So you can see in the documents, especially for the DPW labor, that job is very labor intensive. You're outside, the conditions can be very challenging. So when I met with Chris Gallagher and talked about the recruitment process for it, it was a bit challenging based on the work, but also the hourly wage. So we thought it would be in our best interest to change that step to $16.75 an hour, so that we would be more competitive in comparison to our other local towns.
Did you send those worksheets today? I didn't receive those.
Yes.
Wait, I didn't get them either. All I got
Me
was
neither.
Anti-discrimination, the board, the meeting minutes, and then the meeting agenda.
That's
Same.
what I received as well.
Same.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I sent them at 4:42.
No.
Soon.
I don't have any.
I don't have them either. Is there a way that you can share them on the screen?
Sure.
And just as we're pulling this up, and somebody may recall it, hopefully, Katie, it might be Katie or Mike. And Scott, didn't we just up these like right before Mike left.
It was recreation. It was not DPW.
Yeah, I don't remember DPW, Tracy. I do remember, I think recreation was the focus.
Okay,
I think she has it right.
okay.
I don't have it either, though, but
Oh, okay. I just checked my email and it was sent, but I'm sorry you didn't receive it.
I have it too, Liz. That it shows that it was sent to everybody.
Thank you, Katie.
Maybe for some reason it never exited the building though.
It's possible. Katie, can you share the screen for Liz, or can you share Liz's screen with that information?
Yeah. I mean, let me try.
I have faith in you, Katie.
Mhm.
Is Liz the one that's commanding this session, or is it you, Katie?
I believe it's Katie, Bill.
Maybe for the purpose of this discussion, you want to just basically explain to the board, since they don't have it in front of them, the proposed rate, which is $16.75, and that's significantly up from the seasonal labor of $14.25 in FY22.
Correct.
That's for the DPW bill?
Yeah, that's right. And it was $14.25, and now it's proposed to be at $16.75. So it's about $2.50 raise.
Okay. What about the library and rec?
And
Go ahead, Liz.
Oh, sorry, Bill. I was going to say in library, we just wanted to raise it up to minimum wage at the $15 an hour.
That currently?
It's $14.25
across the board.
Across the board.
Okay. And then what are you looking to do at rec?
So Mark, did you want to speak about rec?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So I just popped up for a second and just came back. So I know it was mentioned earlier that rec was updated last year. It was, but it was only updated for fiscal year 22 to 23. So we're looking to do fiscal year 24, which obviously starts July 1st this year. And also I put in a proposal plan there for FY25 just to get ahead of it, honestly, so that way we could be on the same plan as the rest of my department, which are mostly steel workers. So I can kind of go over the majority percentage rate is 4%, which is what the steelworker raise was this coming year with cost of living. So hoping to do most of the positions starting still above minimum wage. Obviously, we're in a challenging time to try and get kids to work at all, let alone those who are willing to work less than minimum wage. That's almost impossible to find. They can get $3 or $4 more an hour to go work at McDonald's, and we're hoping to attract a much more experienced candidate. So I don't know if you guys can see the scales yet, but I can go through it if you want. But
Mark, I was going to say, if you want to speak to that, that would be helpful because we still don't have it up on screen.
Sure.
Thanks, Mark.
No problem. So basically, the junior counselor positions went from $14.25 starting to $15 starting at step 1, and then incrementally about 50-cent raise each year, step 2, step 3, step 4, which accounts for a 5% increase. And then the counselors, we went from $15.50 to $16.25 for fiscal year 24, and then similarly a 50-cent increase year after that. The majority of the other positions stayed the 4% and continuing the 50-cent raise. The major change that we're looking to do is instructional assistant. So this is something that kind of got overlooked last year. So we have Foxborough is lucky enough to have a great Little Wreckers program. That's a a program. It's essentially a preschool. It's a drop-off program for children's 2 through 5. And so we neglected to raise their rates last year. So we have the last fiscal year, 1425, and these are mostly adults working these positions. And so we're looking to go up to 1825 to really match what the market is commanding at this point. So it is a 22% increase, which I know can sound like a lot, but that is because we did not update last year, and we're looking to actually keep with the market. And we have 2 unbelievable employees. We want to keep them. We want to make sure that they continue to stay here and not look elsewhere. And they've worked for Renee for many, many years. So we want to keep them as happy as possible. And same thing, increasing 50 cents each year. And as they go for step 4, it ends up being the top rate is 2025. So we've mirrored our head counselor rate that we have for the Booth Summer Program to that instructional assistant, because they are essentially at the same level.
Why did we? I didn't think we voted this just for the 1 year, Mark.
So the way it was worded was an increase because it hadn't been done for many years prior. Is fiscal year 22 and 23, and we. So here's the challenge: it would stay in perpetually at that rate for forever until we came back to you guys and said let's up it. But with the minimum wage increasing $1, and we were already at minimum wage, and trying to attract quality candidates, I really think it's necessary to try and, 1, get above minimum wage, but 2, also make sure that we're higher than jobs that might not be as fun, but pay much more. I mean, we really want to attract good high school and college age students and keep the ones we have, to be honest.
So how much holistically, how much of an impact is this to the budget if it's all added up?
So if you'll remember, so the recreation department is it's a revolving fund. So when we budget things, I always, as a rule of thumb, because it is self-funded, I always budget our summer program and basically every rec program off the highest and the furthest step. So if everyone was working more, if everyone is at the top step of the higher rates, it doesn't make that much of an impact because the Booth Summer Program takes in about $150,000. So overall, we have a lot of expenses, but we have, close to 250 kids at $100 a week times 9 weeks. It's a lot of money coming in, and it does, we do put that out as well.
Anybody have any questions?
So nobody was able to share the screen, right? Did anybody receive the information? Because I think
the chief sent it and it didn't come through.
I just tried again, and I'm not sure I am the host, and I don't know why. I don't know how to. It says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
Technical difficulties. So, Liz, can you share your screen? Is it possible? Can you try?
No, because I'm the host technically.
Hasn't come into me, the bill yet.
Okay.
I wonder if there's maybe an issue with our email. I did send it earlier today. Katie confirmed that it was sent.
If it was, I got it as well. So maybe it's just a Town of Foxborough. I got it. I'm actually looking at the attachment right now.
We did upgrade some of our firewalls recently, so that may be a problem why. But it usually doesn't go. It's not an outgoing issue if that's the case. It's usually an incoming issue.
Right.
But maybe it is affecting that at this point. Okay. So we apologize for that.
No, that's okay. Stuff happens. Okay, so just to revisit, the DPW one is just one position that you want to take from 1425 to 1675.
Correct.
And this is the one there's more manual labor, and Chris Gallagher's in support of this.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, then the library is taking 1425 to $15.
Correct. Yeah.
Which position?
That's the library page.
Okay. And then in Mark's world, we've got the junior counselor going from 1425 to 15, and the counselor going from 1550 to 1625, and then the instructional assistant, which we didn't deal with at all last year. So this seems like a big jump, but we never had the interim, 1425 to 1825.
Right.
Correct.
And just a little clarification, I know Mark had indicated that there is a 4% increase. It's actually a 2% cost of living adjustment and a 2% step. So if you look at the, if you go from if you get to step 4, it's actually only a 2% increase beyond that. So unless there's another adjustment, right? Is that accurate, Mark? In terms of your
it is. And I'll be honest, the reason why we're looking to do 24 and 25, setting those up now is I hate to say it honestly, so I don't forget. So next time I know that the steel workers, which are both Renee and I, are into contract negotiations, I can say we have several positions under the rec department. I want to make sure we don't forget them again. It's kind of a little embarrassing that I forgot them.
Hey, it happened. We're all human. So you answered the questions on the funding from a recreation standpoint. And Bill, maybe this is for you to answer. I'm not sure. DPW and library page funding.
So DPW would be a budgetary function because there is no, but it's really one person. So I'm not seeing that as a huge impact. Okay. And the library pages, I'm not even that concerned either, for that matter. So I think that's a relatively small impact in the scheme of the whole budget, of the overall budget.
For clarity, Bill, they're both full-time employees.
The library pages are part-time. They don't work full-time, and the seasonal worker is really somebody that comes in maybe in May and is gone by the end of August, before the end of August.
Got it. Okay. Tracy, you asked my only other question.
Okay.
On the budget.
There we go.
Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
I'm coming.
It's working.
All right. Liz, is it the third one, or well, I'm just gonna start opening them.
Katie, you got good stick-to-itiveness. As you're pulling this up, Scott, Monica, any questions?
No, I mean, the library and DPW are such small groups. I mean, there's hardly any impact. I remember we made some pretty big changes last year to the recreation, and it wasn't a large annual cost. I think it was 20 to 30,000 or something like that.
Yeah. Plus, they're self-funded.
Right. There's no impact to the it's not funded through taxation, so it's not an impact that way. It's funded by the users, actually.
Mm-hmm. I helped fund that.
There you go.
Twice.
And, it's still a relatively reasonable program when you think about it. The prices are relatively reasonable for the whole summer. So,
yeah, very reasonable.
Monica, any questions?
No, not at this time.
Are we good to, because you guys have worked so hard to try to put this up. I think it was very well explained, even if we can't see it visually. Are people comfortable making is somebody comfortable making a motion to accept this seasonal pay scale changes to library, recreation, and DPW as discussed?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it, Tracy.
Okay. All those in favor, roll call. Mike?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Tracy, yes. Okay. Non-union police pay scale. Is that you, Chief?
That would be me.
All right. The podium's yours.
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the administrative assistant?
So, Chief, do you want to start there?
Want me to start there?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So currently under the police department, I have two administrative assistants. One of them falls under the union, and the other position is non-union. I'll go way back is when the town hall employees unionized. One of the staff here chose not to join the union. That has paid dividends on my end. That particular person who is in that role now is Lee McCarthy, who has been with the police department since 1998. She is my executive assistant and deals with all of the high-level documentation within the agency. She is also my administrator on all major game day events, which means essentially for a concert, every time we run a major event, she has to create all the new employee profiles on game day when different departments send over officers who have never worked for the town before. All of that has to happen on game day. And she's there to facilitate that. So on Monday morning, everything is ready for town hall. Her duties, her duties and roles within the agency are kind of endless. I have about 3 pages of them. And one of the most important roles that she has in the public safety building is she is the trainer for all of the assistants who come for police or fire. So when either police or fire hire someone, she is the go-to person to train them on billing, CJIS, Munis. So that way the transition is seamless for paying all the bills for the department. Because the police department, we do our own billing for all of our work. And Lee McCarthy actually does all of the detailed billing for the police department herself, including collecting the money when they don't pay. We have a revolving account and she stays up on every single bill and outstanding bill to make sure that we're in compliance and we never go in the red. Furthermore, she's been our administrative assistant during our accreditation process, and which is basically helping edit, create policies with the team that really pushed us over the edge in attaining police accreditation this year. So my request is to take her where she's maxed out at this point, and she's at a step 5, and to just move her down 1 slot to step 6 in line with the town manager's executive assistant. Monetarily, I think it's about a $2,000 difference in pay.
A year?
A year. And between it. And she actually wouldn't even be that this year. She would probably go back a step to line up exactly where she is now. And then, because she's been maxed out for several years. So she only gets a COLA raise anyway. So this would be like a performance-based, that other step that she could potentially gain. She also took on become a notary. So she can do all the notary work for the police department on her own. And because she's non-union, she has the flexibility to work off hours, all my stadium events, and fills every one of those roles seamlessly without having or getting worried into grievances with the CBA. And she's also been a reserve police officer, believe it or not, in the department for 17 years. That's coming to an end this year because of post, because she doesn't have the full-time academy. But she is an intricate part of my operation every single day. And that's what I'm asking the board to consider tonight.
So let me so Katie, none of those things are the things that we're looking for, right? We're talking about right now. So you can take those things off the screen. It's just confusing everybody, I think. So if it really, the pay plan that we're looking for is the one that is the non-union payroll. So all those that can all come off. That all comes off.
So Mike, what is she making now, and what would she go to?
So currently her salary is 78,000. You know what? I think that's 2024 and the 2023 budget. She's 76,827.
And you want to take her up to 78,827?
No, she's 76,827. And the next position moves to, I believe it's 81,236. But she wouldn't jump that much in one immediately. What'll happen is she would slide back 2 steps to about her same salary, and then she would have to earn those other 2 steps through her performance evaluations.
So Chief, what's the 2,000 off of? Just, I'm getting a little confused by
Yeah, I am too.
that process. I'm not
Why don't we
really-
wait till let's wait till we get that pay scale up there, and I think so. I think it was the 3rd attachment.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna be.
Yep. So Katie's bringing it up now. I just resent it to her. I think we are having outgoing
There it is, right there.
email. Okay.
There we go.
I'm very sorry for all of this.
No,
So-
you know,
All right.
It's okay.
You're flexible.
That's right. There we go. Yay.
Okay.
Oh, great.
All right.
Okay. So she's at,
you'll see her up in the top right-hand corner.
He's right here.
At 70. Oh, my eyes are starting to go in this.
ew.
The third one, T125, is that what you're speaking of?
Yep,
Chief,
so
right here, right?
she's step 5.
So she's 75,056.
But this is the proposed. Yeah.
It
So
is-
if we look at FY23, that's the current.
So right
Where she would
here,
currently be at.
highlighted is the current, right, Liz?
No, that's the proposed. So the FY23 would be her current. If we go to the FY23 tab, you'll be able to see it there.
All
Yeah.
right, so
Apologies.
this is where we are right now today.
Yep.
So she's at 76,827.
Yep.
And
Okay.
so she's been maxed out for like 3 years, I think, at least.
Okay. And
So,
you're going to move her down into executive assistant.
correct.
Correct. So she would go down a grade, given her scope of responsibility. And also, I would say, her eagerness to do more, as Chief Grace spoke about. And also, too, she is, privileged to a lot of confidential information. And, there is definitely takes a very, I would say, special and trustworthy.
Oh, yeah. I know Lee well. So
Yeah,
are
so-
you taking her? So she's a step 10 right now, upper right-hand corner.
Yep.
Are you going to take her to a step 7?
Yeah,
So-
whatever her salary is, I'm just gonna move her down.
Okay.
So that way she can earn 2 or 3 steps over the next.
I get what you're saying. So
Yeah.
where
So really be a step 8 if that was the case.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can't give her a pay cut. I can't go backwards, but it would
Right.
just be
Yeah.
the next step, what's comparable.
so where did the 2,000 come from?
I was doing a subtraction off an old, and that was.
Okay. So she's basically going to go to 78,363 or whatever. She's going to come to 79,642, but then she'll have the ability to earn step 9 and step 10, which
That's
Based
correct.
off performance evaluations.
I personally have no issue with this whatsoever. I could speak highly of Lee, not as long as Mike, but pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, she's done it all. She's been a matron, she's been a dispatcher. She handles, and I can tell you all of the public requests that comes from the attorneys and the public records, and the confidential litigation that occurs in a police agency. She handles it all. And she's also, she is like kind of the buffer within the agency. At one point, I believe she was probably our only female officer as a reserve and as a staff. And she's bridged that gap. And she's recently joined our communication team with Sergeant Collins for community outreach and updating our webpage as well. So she's running on all cylinders all the time, every day.
And she's
It's just
pleasant.
a joy to work with.
And she's I've never seen her in a bad mood or frazzled.
No,
ever.
she's excellent that way. So just a quick question to you, Chief and Liz. With the change in pay, have you identified the changes in the job description that go with that? Because you can't really do that without that. I mean, that really should be truly reflective of what she's doing now.
Yeah, and I can add those additional duties that
Right.
she's been taking on.
Right.
Yeah, that's not going to be an issue.
Yep.
Okay.
And I discussed that.
Right. So that should be, this pay scale will change. This is the is this the FY24 rates or the FY23 rates?
24.
These are 24. Okay. So these would be the rates that would be effective July 1st of 23.
Okay, and all of this would be funded, Chief, out of your budget.
Correct.
That's right.
I have absolutely no problem with it. Scott, Mike,
Can we just go back to the FY23 tab for a second, just to compare where the step 10 and step 8 is there? Okay, so it is still a step. Okay. Yep. No, I'm fine with it. Moving to the step 8 under the executive assistant.
As I am. I think Chief did a pretty good job of supporting the woman. I'm not knowledgeable about her, but yes.
awesome. Monica, any questions, concerns?
No, I agree.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the change for the non-union police pay scale for the executive assistant?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call. Mike, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Monica?
Yes.
Tracy, yes. All set, Chief.
Thank you.
Now, guys, I know you're gonna talk about like crowning me as queen.
No, I have another one.
Tracy, I was going to jump in. It's 2 parts for Chief Grace.
Are you gonna talk to me about getting a crown though?
No, that's the Crown Act. That has to do with hair. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Chief.
So the second item to discuss is the deputy police chief and assistant fire chief. So I'm gonna go way back to the time when we had before Bill Keegan, is we did a wage study within the agency to find out where the union members should fall within their salaries and also for non-union members. And at the time, the police department addressed the patrolmen, the sergeants, and they addressed the lieutenant positions on the non-union pay plan. And they created a separation between the ranks based on their duties. Historically, the separation ranges between 17 and 22% when you move up the rank within a police agency. But what they didn't do is they never talked about the deputy chief's position because one, they hadn't had one for several years. It almost went vacant for 15 years. So there was really no need to address it. When I became chief, I petitioned town meeting to remove the deputy chief's position from civil service as I restructured the agency, but we never addressed the pay scale. So at the time, Deputy Chief Noonan, he was a lieutenant for several years. And the structure only gives it about a $7,000 separation between the positions of a lieutenant and a deputy chief, which hinders around less than, I think it's around 8% if you're lucky. So the lieutenants are about, I think 24% over the sergeants. The sergeants are 22% over the patrolmen. And then the sole deputy chief is sitting around 7 to 8% over the lieutenant. When the deputy chief got made, I couldn't even put him onto his pay scale because he was already being paid more as a lieutenant. So the first 7 steps got erased because they never had adjusted his salary. Mm-hmm. So I'm asking the board to consider a small adjustment. I'm never going to be able to reach the industry standard because I have to be reasonable on where I end up with, but I'm looking for a 12% separation between the lieutenants and the deputy chief, and it's one position.
So this does actually affect, though, the deputy chief and as well as the assistant fire chief and the human resources director. One of the things that we were trying to do was come up with some comparables to actually justify the change here. But they, based upon what the chief is proposing here, it's not an unreasonable change. It's just that, I just want to be able to be sure to present to you that there are comparables for all three positions so that you can actually feel comfortable with this change for all three. I know the chief has done a lot of work on his side, but since it does affect two other positions, we want to make sure they fit in. Now, Liz is, of course, brand new. So she is going to have to look at the market. We're going to have to look at the market for her position as well as the assistant fire chief, which I can tell you that the fire chief is actually supportive of this change as well, because it does create it does create more separation between him and the deputy fire chief, which is the assistant fire chief's role as opposed to the deputy fire chief, which was actually pretty closer to as well, I should say. So again, it's more of the comparables have to still be looked at for some of those positions, but the argument that the chief is making is purely an internal comparison. We've looked at some external as well, and based on that, some external information that we have, this proposed change is actually in line, so it's not off the reservation at all.
And I just want to stress one thing is my deputy chief is Deputy Chief Richard Noonan. His credentials, I will match up with anybody in this Commonwealth as a deputy chief. He's very vested in the community. He grew up in town. He loves working for Foxborough. He's got a couple young kids. I'll tell you, my goal is to keep him as long as I can, because it's important to the organization. With Gillette Stadium, he is the liaison up there with the Homeland Security element, and it's a full-time job. He's been to the FBI Academy. He has his master's degree. He meets every credential that a chief can attain. So he is an asset that is an intricate part to my day-to-day operation. And all I have to look at the events and the up-and-coming season that I have coming. It's endless, and he knows it. And basically, it's 41 weekends a year that he's working, and he just had to change his vacation plans because he had a house booked in the Cape, but Bruce Springsteen's coming. So I order him to work these events. He doesn't have the option, and he does it. Of course, I'm there, and all my lieutenants as well. But it's really, it's intricate to my operation, and I have to keep him competitive.
Right.
I really can't afford to lose him, because trying to retrain that amount of knowledge, and he's been with the department 25 years, would be a challenge.
So Bill, I'm kind of sold on the police side of this, but I'm a little unsure, or unclear, I think it's a better word, on the other two roles.
Right.
We have comparatives on that? I mean, where are we?
Yeah, we were doing the comparables as early as this week on the others, so we don't have all the comparables, Mike, yet. And I just want to be careful that listen, I don't think there's any question about the performance qualities of the individuals in any one of these positions. The issue is, does the job responsibilities rise to the level of a classification change like this? And my answer to that is yes, based upon the duties and responsibilities, but also because of the comparability considerations in the market. And I think those are the factors. I like to stay away from the performance issues, because that's a different measurement in terms of how people rise through pay scales. But I do think it's very important that we focus. I mean, particularly the personnel board focuses on the value of the position in the marketplace, as well as the roles and responsibilities of the position itself. And I think those things can actually be justified with all three of these positions. But I'm happy to provide you with more information on the other two, based upon, and come back at another time, maybe within 30 days, to have that information for you, so you'll feel comfortable making that decision as well.
And I can tell you on the fire side, as we work hand in hand with each other, me, Mike Keller, Tom Buckley, Richie, we're in this all together every single day with our Gillette, and Tom plays that role on the fire side as well.
That's
as
right.
a day-to-day hands-on guy for the fire department with all of their changes. in running their operations. So I'm 100% confident that he too meets the same criteria as my deputy chief. There's almost not a comparable out there for what we do if you were to look at another police department throughout the Commonwealth.
And as far as the HR director position, we actually changed that. There was a departure from the assistant town manager role, which you see is still listed higher as the HR director. So Liz's role is a step down from the combination of the assistant town manager and the HR director. But in terms, we're actually taking a look at the comparables right now, and based upon the early indication is that the proposal is actually in line with what's being set up right here. So I just want to be, I'm trying to be forthright in telling you all this, because these discussions literally happened within the past few weeks, and we want to make sure that we have all the information that's supportive of the change, so that you can all feel comfortable in recommending this to the Board of Selectmen for final action. Okay.
Scott, Monica?
Yeah, I'm fine. So it sounds like you'll just follow up with updated recommendations for this grade 11, all 3 positions, correct?
For all 3 positions, that's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you want to take an action on the deputy police chief, that's entirely up to you. But for the other 2 positions, I think we want to at least have the comparables to show that, and maybe have the fire chief speak to that a little bit more too, with respect to the change to the assistant fire chief. And as far as the HR director, we're literally looking at comparables this week on that. So I didn't want to put anything until we had a better understanding of that. Okay.
I would just say, why don't you come back with all of them?
Okay. I mean, it's not going to affect the action that's going to be put forth, because this is going to be effective July 1st, right, Chief? This will be all effective. Your plan was to have this effective July 1st, correct?
You're the boss, so yeah.
Well, that's the way it would shake out, is because these are FY24. These are FY24 scales, so then that's how it would roll out. So it'll be effective July 1st.
So we have plenty of time to.
You do have time, yeah. There's no
together,
true rush in getting that. So I want to at least put everything in the right order for you.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't we do it all together? Mike, you good?
I am. Thanks,
Scott,
Tracy.
you good for now?
Yep.
Monica?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will still be here if you meet next month rather. I will still be here to speak to it again. So I'm not trying to any way, shape, or form diminish what the chief is trying to achieve here, nor what Liz is trying to achieve as well. So
It just came through. Thank you.
no
That's
kidding.
insane. I'm so
That's
sorry.
insane.
You're
Yeah.
probably gonna get a inflow of emails of all the same thing.
It's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
No worries. Delete
That's
button's
interesting.
very easy to hit. So, Chief, are we able to move on to the Crown Act?
Yeah, Tracy, and it's Mike, as a warning, I got about 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I got to go up and chair AdCom at 7.
Oh, God bless you. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
God bless you.
And I'm going to go downstairs to sit for that same meeting, Mike. So I'll see you there.
So is this something we can do quickly in that time period, or do we need more?
I think we can go through it very quickly. It's a pretty minor change to the policy, really, to make sure that we're compliant and updating the language. So Attorney Jack Dolan helped us draft the changes to this policy to reflect the Crown Act and the footnote. And so we're just looking to make that change in our policy manual. And if everybody's agreeable to the changes, we can get that done sooner rather than later.
So basically, Jack drafted this, and this brings us in compliance with the current law.
Correct.
The only thing I found odd in this was the line that said the select board is well aware that appointed. I'm not sure why that was really necessary. I don't know that you'd have a policy without the select board being cognizant of the necessity. It's a sort of a minor offshoot, but otherwise I'm fine with all the concept. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a little oddly written as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a little odd.
Okay.
We can certainly make a change if that's helpful to the language.
I just don't
I
know
would-
if it's
I would just say,
necessary
well-
myself.
Well, this policy is intended primarily to govern town employees. I would get rid of, honestly, because it just sounds stupid, I think. The select board is well aware. And it would say that, so get rid of the select board is well aware of that. And then it would read, while this policy is intended primarily to govern town employees, appointed and elected officials and volunteers are also vital to the town's mission.
I'd agree with that, Tracy. I think that's.
I
fine.
would too.
English. Okay. Monica, Scott,
No, I saw that too. I like the change.
English major in me. Okay. Do I have a motion to recommend the changes to the sexual harassment policy with the amendment of the removal of those words to the Board of Selectmen?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second,
Second. Either one.
Mike, roll call,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Monica,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Tracy, yes. Are we good?
I think that covers it.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody, and
All right.
have a good AdCom meeting and motion to adjourn.
Thanks.
Second.
Thank you.
Right.
Nice to meet
Thank
everyone.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Nice to meet you. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Good
Great to
night.
see you all.
Sure.
All right, take care now.